He literally got into a police chase when he was a kid and ran from the cops in reverse. So as I mentioned in a previous video, which maybe a few people have seen, I went to skip barber in high school, and I convinced my parents to buy a Crown Victoria so that I could practice what I had learned, work on my skills. For graduating high school, my grandmother sent all the grandkids overseas, or whatever they wanted to do. I wanted to go to Italy, but as part of that, I wanted to get a factory tour of Lamborghini, Ferrari, Pagani, all of those things. Some of you may find this hard to believe, but back then the internet was kind of limited in terms of what you could actually find out. So trying to figure out how to get a Ferrari and Lamborghini factory tour as an 18-year-old using internet in Maine, which is about 10 years behind everyone else's internet, was pretty difficult. Eventually I gave up and just said, you know what, I'd actually rather go do some driving schools. So I went to the Bondurant 4-day racing school, and I tried to get into the Bobby Orr stunt driving school, because that is, the stunt driving school. I had read an article about him in, I think, Automobile Magazine, and they highlighted his driving in Swordfish with the TVRs. So that was how I knew of him. So I tried to get into that, but you have to be a member of the union to even go to the school. And I pled my case, hey, I'm 18, I just really want, nope, doesn't matter. So I went searching on this limited internet for other stunt driving schools. Somehow I stumbled across this one in Washington, run by Steve Buckley, I think was his name. Signed up, sent the money, all that. So we go to Bondurant first, and of course it's this first class operation. We stayed at this incredible PGA golf resort across the street. Kiplinger's magazine was there covering the event, so I got to be in the magazine, and just, everything was very well done there. So then my dad and I get on a plane and go to Seattle, get our rental car, and drive about an hour out into the woods of Seattle. It was just about as hick as Maine, and we show up at this circle track for stunt driving school. I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So we roll in and meet the instructor and meet some of the other people. Of course, every car there, I think he had bought the day before at the local, wholesale auction or used car dealer or whatever. I mean, it was like before Lemons was invented, these were Lemons race cars. They were beaters. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. Throughout the course of the school, I also found out that nobody else there had really any competence or racing background, or, even knew how to recover a slide. I mean, they just didn't really have any previous performance driving experience. So not that I was Mario Andretti, but I had just come from 4-day Bondurant school, and I'm here with a bunch of yahoos. So that made it a little bit frustrating, because I wanted to learn some really more advanced stuff, and a lot of people were still figuring out how to control a car at all. It really was interesting. This guy was the real deal. I mean, he knew how to drive a car. And so we were doing J-turns, we were doing 90 and 180 degree sliding into parking spaces, we were doing tandem slaloms, driving in formation, which is really interesting because you are literally inches off each car. You can reach out your hand, and I actually did this, and I was like slapping the hood of the other car and things like that. So it was pretty cool, the stuff we learned, but the instructor himself was a great source of entertainment. He was kind of a Hollywood outlaw, and he would tell us stories. I don't know how many of them were true, but I'm inclined to believe him, because it was kind of the you can't make this stuff up type of things. He claimed to be the stunt driver for Strange Brew, which I thought was cool. You know, usually people don't brag about that because who's seen that, you know? And then he also said that he never joined the guild. He would do everything under a different name, you know, and all that. So if you actually look for him, you don't see his name in any driving credits and all that. But he talked about when he was racing, he had a go-kart and he'd go out on the highway and drive underneath tractor-trailer trucks. Back in the day, of course, the old cars didn't have, they had a really high gear for reverse, and they don't have a limiter. So he literally got into a police chase when he was a kid and ran from the cops in reverse. I believe him, I guess. I mean, who makes that kind of stuff up? So that was extremely entertaining. He also said that they used to use rental cars for their stunt driving school, but he had gotten banned from every single rental agency in Seattle. I tried to convince my dad to let us use the Mustang convertible we had rented, you know, because all the other cars were like breaking down and all sorts of stuff like that. So people are volunteering the cars they brought. I mean, it was a total whacked out experience, especially coming from Bondurant. It was certainly a lot of fun. And I did learn some valuable, I don't know, well, okay, they're not really valuable skills, but I learned some skills. One of the interesting things about this whole adventure was that Steve's girlfriend came along as one of the instructors. Not sure she was very qualified, but whatever, she was there, and he had taught her how to teach well, but not necessarily how to drive well. So she was leading one of the tandem slaloms at one point, and she completely lost control of the car, spins off, and almost hits the wall. But yes, the skills definitely come into play in everyday life, you know, running from the cops, things like that. But as Jeremy Clarkson would say, there's nothing the ladies enjoy more than watching a well-executed handbrake turn.
Are you looking to buy your dream car? Premier Financial Services offers the flexibility of financing with the tax benefits of leasing. The PFS Simple Lease offers quick approvals and easy termination when you are ready for the next car. Visit our website and follow us for more.